Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're here. You are in the right place at the right time, and your soul is welcome here.
That's right. You're in the right place at the right time, just where you are meant to be, whether you're live streaming here with us today or here in person. We're so glad you chose to be here with us at Spiritual Life Center, because we know your soul is welcome here. And we're going to sing about it. Are you ready? Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Please join me in turning around, saying good morning to those live streaming. You're in the right place at the right time. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Yes it is. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. Everybody's welcome. My soul is welcome. Everybody's welcome. My soul is welcome. We're all welcome. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
We want to make sure everybody was awake. I think we're getting online. We're getting online. All right. I think we're good. Whoa. It's a special morning. Hot mics. Okay. That one's on.
All right, is this one on? This was not.
1, 2,
2, 3, 4.
1, 2, buckle my shoes. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. Oh my goodness. See, I didn't even know all of the rest. I only knew up to 4.
Is it?
Are you on on this end?
Am I on? I'm on.
May you have to switch mics?
Do we have to? Oh,
Okay,
there we
well,
are.
Now we're good. All right.
So, as I started to say, yay! Thank you. I started to say, good morning, Reverend
Well,
James.
good morning, Rev Deb. Good to see you this morning. And your soul is welcome here, as is everyone else's.
And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. And in the warm and loving energy of this ministry, mission-centric ministry, Spiritual Life Center. And we especially welcome you if you are here for the very first time or if you are streaming for the very first time, because we know that you are not here by accident. We are all here by divine appointment. And we're just so thrilled to have everyone with us here today. And we are also thrilled, if you will remember, to turn off your little electronic beings.
And as we tune out the outer world for a moment, we have an opportunity to commune with the presence and the power and the love of pure spirit. So let's take that time to make that connection and realize that we're living and moving and having our beingness in this presence. A presence that's known by so many different names, but we make it the activity of our awareness. And this morning we remember our oneness with this presence as well as our interconnectedness with each other. Because we're interconnected on that soul level, that spiritual level. Regardless of the outer noise that says that we are separate and apart from this presence and from each other. We know that whatever happens to one individual in some way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly affects all of us. We send a special prayer to those who are experiencing the fires in Redding and Yosemite and other communities nearby, knowing that they're divinely guided and protected along the way. We not only send our prayers, but we have opportunities to support them as well. Because again, we are one in the Spirit. What affects one affects all. So we're grateful to be the vessels, the vehicles of pure spirit as we go forth, multiplying the all good in our own unique ways, no matter where we may be. We bring the consciousness of this presence in the thoughts that we have, the words that we speak, and the actions that we take. And as we go forth representing this presence, we're able to say with absolute certainty, when you see me, you see the presence that sent me, for we all come from this one presence. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth, multiplying and amplifying the all good. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. You know, like I said, just a reminder, we were praying for the folks for the experiencing the fires in Redding and Yosemite. I think about 85,000 acres, I believe, have been affected. People, whole towns have been evacuated. And, you know, we not only pray, but we also find ways that we can support them. So if you would like to do that, I think you can go online and find something about the car fire for Redding Relief. And they have many organizations, including the Red Cross, United Way, Salvation Army, the Shasta County Regional Foundation, and they have a GoFundMe from the Tri-County Bank that we can support those that are our brothers and sisters going in a challenge at this moment. And speaking of the opportunity to support many causes, we had the Unheard Voices this past Friday evening. I don't know how many were there, but I was there, and Elaine was there, and JG was there, but we had about 85 millennials that were there. And what that was about, I wanted to acknowledge that really they're kind of like the next generation of SLCers, and they are known as the Emerging Wisdom, and they presented a benefit concert or benefit event, really, called the Unheard Voices, and it's benefiting CARA, C-A-R-A, the Family Detention Pro Bono Project. And I was there along with my wife, and my son did some rap presentations. They had some great musicians and spoken word artists, and it was really great. So we want to thank the AV team member, Sasha Alexander, for organizing the event. She reached out to many talented artists and musicians and healers, and as well as thanking our staff and volunteers who were part of the event. They were here probably to almost past midnight Friday night, so they really went beyond the call of duty. And if you'd like to really support some of the CARA causes for the Family Detention Pro Bono Project, you can see Sasha, and she'll give you some ways that you can support them directly by entering a raffle to win a piece of art that was created from start to finish at the benefit event. So again, thank you, Unheard Voices.
And we have another wonderful Wow Wednesday program coming up. This week is our Afro-Caribbean drumming circle with Dominic Garcia, who happens to be with us today. They have a rumbling time over here. And for those of you who would like to rumble a little more quietly, I also hold a spiritual exploration discussion group over in the chapel, so you can still come on Wednesday if you want to drum or if you want to sit and have a nice spiritual chat. So the program starts at 7, salad is at 6.
And just a reminder that Dr. Rima Benario, who is the co-creator of the Q process, as well as TJ Bartle, will be here next weekend with the Awaken Your Bliss. What would happen if in your life if you were able to fully master the art of practice of deep receiving? And there's details in your bulletin about that weekend, including the workshops that will be taking place this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it promises to be a wonderful, enlightening, transformative experience.
It's going to be wonderful. And I'd like to introduce Elaine Leroy. She has a little bit of an update on, actually it's a big update on the expo.
Good morning, beautiful ones.
Good morning.
In your bulletin today, I have an insert for you. You want to make sure you have that out and you take it with you. A little bit like Christmas in August, I've been talking about the expo that is coming up, our Emerging Wisdom and New Earth Expo that takes place on August 11th and 12th. And I'm going to unpack it a little bit for you this morning because I know we've had a lot going on all the time here at SLC. And then this weekend and next, an opportunity for you to know a little bit more about how that works. First of all, how many of you have seen it on our homepage, Yeah, just a few of you. Well, take a look, because right now, every day, come to the expo, it's $10 each day, or $15 for the two, but you can come for free if you click on the link on our homepage. Or for those of you who would rather not go online, this flyer gets you into the expo for free, okay? So you want to take this. If you're bringing a friend, take some extras or tell them how to get in for free. How many have been to an expo setting before? Any hands? Okay, so just to make you more familiar with it, our event is a 2-day event. It is on Saturday all the way from 10 to 9, on Sunday 10 to 6. The expo allows you in with this flyer, or signing up online, allows you free access to the exhibit hall. There should be almost 85 to 100 free exhibitors for you to see. Many of those exhibitors are going to be offering free lectures that are almost every hour on the hour. There are 2 rooms that allow exhibitors to tell you a little bit more about their gifts or their books or their products. So getting in for that. We will be offering opening ceremonies, which will start on Saturday. You won't want to miss. Our own James Trapp will open the conference with his keynote address, Emerging Wisdom in the New Earth, which will explain all about our expo. And right directly after, this is so exciting, we just on Thursday confirmed that our panel discussion on Saturday morning from 11 to 12:30 will be hosted and moderated by a renowned psychic, Joseph Felton Martin, who actually has a television show. Some of you might have seen it, The Paranormal Insight. I believe he is bringing his television crew to actually film the panel. And James has reached out because this idea of us transforming the world even starts with unity among our unity churches here. So Rev Kev will be there, and Rev Cherie Larkin will share that panel with James. And you will also see Meredith Kimberly, who you see on screen, and Dr. Brenda Wade will be on that free panel so that you can hear a little bit about what they're doing with the title, Heal Yourself, Heal the World. So you'll get a little snippet of that. Dr. Wade will come in right after at 12:30 to 1:30, and you will hear her. Dr. Wade is the relationship expert. How many have heard of Dr. Oz? Yes, she is her regularly scheduled relationship expert on Dr. Oz, and she has a weekly radio show about sacred relationships. So we have the honor of having her. You can hear her for free, and then her workshop is at 4 o'clock on Saturday, but don't miss that chance. Kimberly Meredith, how many have heard of Kimberly Meredith, or psychic healers, kind of like John of God, which John of God will have actually their own booth as well as auras, and please see our website for all the different ones. But Kimberly Meredith is a psychic healer, a trance channeler. She deals with 85% of her clients are cancer patients, either who before or recovering from radiation and chemotherapy. She will be on the panel and will have a free session from 2 to 3:30 for you to get a little bit of what she does, and her paid workshop is on Sunday. So come and see all those. Mary Youngblood, we've had her here. She is a Grammy Award-winning flutist, 2-time Grammy Award winner, and a nominee for an Emmy. She is our entertainment that evening, and you have a chance to see her. That is a paid concert. And then if you think that it is not over, that's just Saturday. Sunday, we'll start it with our service, and Deborah will remind you when and where that will be. And our guest speaker for that Sunday service is Patricia Albert. Patricia Albert will be talking about We Mysticism, the Church of the In-Between. For us, those of us who are moving from that collective consciousness, you hear the words from 3D to 5D or for new dimensions. You have a beautiful opportunity for her to talk about the evolving consciousness. And she does have a workshop, but you can hear her as our Sunday guest speaker. So it's just crazy. You'll have Patricia Albert that afternoon for a workshop, and then from 2 to 6, Kimberly is going to do the whole afternoon of healing. If you don't want to be at those paid workshops, every hour on the hour, free lectures, all the way to the end of the expo. Does that sound amazing? So... And for those of you, again, you can get your name on the list by signing up online. You can grab the flyer. And if for some reason you forget the flyer, you'll be seeing some of the folks familiar faces here who can give you the password who will let you in because you are special SLC folks. Please see me at the table if you want to volunteer to make this happen, or if you are a vendor who wants to be a part of this beautiful program. SLC has tables, and we want to make sure all of you are there to share of your gifts and services. And Deborah has the final announcement.
All righty. Thank you, Elaine.
Honestly, I don't think there's ever going to be an actual final announcement. However, so 2 weeks from today is August 12th. Where is our church service going to be held?
Brown.
What time?
10.
How many services? Thank you very much. You pass.
I asked earlier, did you miss the fun of summer camp? A few people said, no, I did not. But we're gonna have a great summer camp coming up that you won't miss out on, and remember having good memories of. It's called the Feathers of Freedom, an SLC summer camp, and it's going to take place on August 17th on the 9th and to the 19th at Silver Lake Stockton Camp in Pioneer, California. You can enjoy scheduled camp experiences if you're into kayaking, canoeing, campfires, and new dimensions geared for adults, such as spirit circles and forgiveness walks. And you can always take time to enjoy yourself.
It sounds like a grand time.
I think the last time to register is tomorrow, so that was the reason I'm saying it
yes,
today.
Yes. So that's kind of a final announcement. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stop. So in September, we have a new class. It's called Braving Your Shadow Through the Power of Archetypes. It's a 3-week class with Teresa Campos, and she is a local and well-respected spiritual teacher. It's going to take place on Tuesday nights, September 4th, 11th, and 18th. And it will be from 6:30 to 8:30. You can uncover unrealized creative forces within. There's no need to fear the shadow. Then you can register today.
And we want to acknowledge a couple of groups of people this morning, our ambassadors and our prayer chaplains, those who are present and serving this morning. And the ambassadors are wearing the rainbow ribbons, and they will give you opportunities to know about what's taking place at Spiritual Life Center, as well as answer questions that you may have on how to get engaged in our community. And we also want to acknowledge our chaplains who are doing the most important work of holding the prayer consciousness no matter what you may be going through or growing through in life. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're just downs. But on the other end, there's the presence of God, and they remind you of that presence. And they're wearing the stoles as they always do each and every week. So we thank the ambassador and prayer chaplains for their service.
And if you're here for the very first time, we are going to ask you to raise your hand in just a moment. But first, we really want you to know about the opportunities that we have to get connected here at SLC. So if you fill out the welcome card that you will be handed and you drop it in the offering basket, or take it directly to the welcome table in the courtyard where there is a very warm welcome gift for you.
So if you are here for the very first time, we just invite you now just to raise your hand nice and high and just hold it up for a few moments. And we're going to give you a special gift. And that special gift is a shell lei. And we ask that you wear that gift so that you can get that special Spiritual Life Center welcome. And also on the shell lei, there is a tag. And that tag has a very important reminder for all of us. And it says, we believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And there are many paths to the one God. So we thank you for joining us on your path today and joining us in our consciousness of divine love in this wonderful community. So here's an opportunity now. We can greet our newcomers, greet each other, and say, great that you're here today. You look marvelous. Glad you're present.
Invite you to stay standing and join us in singing one of SLC's favorite group songs, Give Yourself to Love. Together, kind friends all gather round. There's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. So give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain. I've learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. Like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. So give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is born in fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you're ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. So give yourself love, if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
So now we're going to speak together from our cue cards, both the shadow and the magnificence. And actually, all of it is sacred, isn't it? And we embrace that and we speak it. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, and fearful. Because this is who we have come here to be, inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, transformational. And now let's embody those words as we speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now as we sing this chant, we affirm this is also our mission: to love, serve, and remember.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come? To love, to serve, and to remember. Please join us in singing. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Taken birth. Why have we come? Why have we come? To love, to love, serve and love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember.
Why have we come to earth? To love, serve, and remember. It is through our prayers that we remember who we have come here to be. As we move into meditation, I invite you to breathe and relax. Letting go going within, we quiet our minds. Give yourself over to this moment. Welcome peace. Gently breathing in and out. Allow your heart to expand with each breath. As we deepen into meditation, allow the prayer of Saint Francis to resonate through you. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born again to eternal life. Breathe that in. As I die to my old ways, releasing, I am born anew to divine love. With each day, an opportunity to begin again. As we bring this prayer to life, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. For it is in our giving that we receive. In today's meditation, we align with the energy of giving. Giving is an act of consciousness. With our thoughts and our actions, we give of ourselves. Giving love and understanding, we express the divine. Offering our hearts and our time to nurture others and replenish ourselves. Sometimes giving is challenging. We want to hold on to our treasures as we worked hard to get them, and they are ours after all. But are they? Is not everything we have, everything we are, created by the divine? Each breath that we take is a gift. Each day an opportunity to give of ourselves and share our blessings. Giving with gratitude, we find we are blessed, filled with the gifts of spirit, part of the ever-present flow. We give because we choose to. We give because it is divine. In the silence, I invite you to explore what is yours to give. As I give of myself, I receive the gifts of spirit, spreading peace in our world. As we return to this room, remember, we all have something to share, even if it is just our prayer. And so it is.
All you shall have will someday be given. So give now that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. Khalil Gibran. As I give, I receive. My cup overflows, expands and grows. I live abundantly, gently letting go. I am pure, creative force. I am one with all. My life, my source, I give gratefully, richly blessed through eternity. I know and believe as I give, I receive. As I give, I receive. My cup overflows, expands and grows. I live abundantly, gently letting go.
our one and only Ann Roach. Yes. Setting the consciousness, setting the energy field. As I give, I do receive. As I was reflecting upon the topic for today, so wonderfully summarized in that song by Ann, I remember when I was a little tyke during the summertime, in elementary school, and those summers when it was really, really hot. Kind of like some days recently here in Sacramento. And, I'd be out there with my friends, and we'd be in a nearby, we had a little like forest nearby or a big wooded area, and we may be playing hide and seek, or we might be out in the street playing dodgeball or, pick up basketball. And of course, after a while, you get really thirsty. And so we run to the nearest house, and back in those days, we would just get, somebody's water hose and turn on the water hose and drink directly out of the water hose. Now, I don't know if they do that today, We did that and we survived. We're still here. And we'd be okay, But there's sometimes when we go and turn on the water hose and just a trickling of water would just be coming out. And we say to the person, turn up the faucet, give us some more water. And no more would be coming out. And then we realized that the hose is all tangled up, got a knot in it, and somebody would, shake the hose and finally get it loosened up, and the water would come spraying out, and everybody would just get all wet up, and then after a while, we'd take the hose and spray on each other and just have a good old time. But as I thought about that story, I realized that to receive the flow of life, we have to release anything and everything that's blocking the realization of our ability to give out. And if we want more of any quality in our life, if we want more of any quality to come into our life, we have to let more of that quality come out of us. And of course, we've been going with the theme based upon St. Francis's prayer, "Let make me an instrument." We've been reading, for those who have the reading, Eckhart Smarren's book, "Love Never Faileth." And I've been reciting his statement that this prayer, that he looked around for all the Western passages that he could meditate to, and he looked and looked and looked until he found this particular passage. And he said he liked this passage because it gives us a blueprint for making our life a blessing to all those that we encounter. And it can transform our very life, transform our very being. And of course, if we look at some of those lines in that prayer, it goes counterculture. Because sometimes it reverses, sometimes the human tendency that we have on the surface mind that we find in our world, or we look at and we see on Twitter. We don't see a lot of good things all the time. But it can serve as a roadmap to take us to the core of our being. And so today, as we go through the series, we're looking at that line in that prayer that was recited earlier, that for it is in giving that we receive. And of course, everything that we present is really nothing new. We just kind of remind ourselves of that truth. There's no spiritual truth that are really new. We kind of serve as reminders. We listen to a meditation. It's a reminder of what's already there. We listen to a song that Ann sings. It's a reminder that it's already there. We listen to this guy up here say a few words. This is a reminder it's already within us. We're just kind of bringing it out by reminding us collectively so that we can overcome the highly charged thoughts of the world that would tell us something different. And this same statement, of course, is in alignment with the scriptural reference that Jesus said that it is the measure you give is also the measure that you get back. There was a jeweler that had a magnificent and a very expensive diamond. And he said to his friend, do you want to buy this diamond from me? And his friend said, yes, I'll buy it. And a few weeks later, the jeweler sees his friend again and asks, do you still have that diamond that I sold you? And the friend, yeah, I got it. He said, will you be willing to sell it back to me? He said, sure, I'll sell it right back to you. And then a few weeks later, the friend asked the jeweler, well, do you have that diamond that I sold back to you? Would you sell it back to me? And this went on for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And then one year, the friend asked the jeweler, do you still have that diamond that I sold you the last time? And the jeweler said, no, I sold it to somebody else. And the friend said, well, that's too bad. We did such a fantastic business with each other. The whole point is that, when genuine giving is that whenever you give, it does come back to you. Sometimes we give with expectations, but real giving is giving without any expectation, without any strings attached. One of my spiritual teachers said that the world is divided up into two people, the givers and the takers. And the takers are the people who believe that life is about getting things, getting more. And they use all of their energy to plan, to scheme, to strategize, to get more love, get more money, get more happiness. Only to discover no matter how much they think they get from the outside, it never satisfies them. So they never really find peace. They never really find security or true fulfillment. I remember a friend of mine who seemingly had everything. He had inherited a lot of money from his family, but he was always constantly grabbing for more. He never really felt there was enough. In this philosophy of life that, for me to win, somebody else has got to lose. And I remember one time I was with him and, somehow, I don't know how we kind of connected. And, we went to a grocery store and he got one of the shopping carts. And he was, kind of moved away from it for a moment. And there was a nice, mature lady who came by, decided, was acting like she was getting ready to take his shopping cart. And he snatched the shopping cart away from her. I said, hey, man, come, slow down. But he wanted to make sure that she didn't get his so-called shopping cart. It was a small matter, but I think he had a conscience of a taker. Our same teacher said that, a giver is completely different. Because a giver is convinced that life is a giving process. That all true motivation always comes to people who give from themselves. They give themselves away, whether it's in love or in service. They give themselves away in many helpful ways that they find how they can invest more of themselves into giving. And when they do that, they always feel that they always have more than enough. They always feel secure because they intuitively know that their good comes from within. Our teacher, when I was telling him about this, he said, it sounds all good and everything, but let me tell you about my situation. Because I was reminding him that sometimes, like myself and other folks, will say, I've given so much. I can't give anymore. Nothing's really happening in my life. I feel depleted, exhausted, unappreciated, and many times unrecognized. But he reminded me that people who give from this perspective are not giving aright. They're caught up in the belief in separation, believing that they have their own resources to give from. They have their own stash. They have their own personal reserve, separate and apart from the presence of God. And if they give of this stash, God is going to somehow bless them and give them more recognition or more prestige or better something in their life. But he's saying that we have no private stash in that way. There's no personal reserve, believing that we're separate from God, separate from this infinite presence. Because that only leads to that sense of separation and exhaustion and all those things of competition. And in the appearances in the world show and somehow give evidence to that. People reinforce that. But he reminded me that our prayer work, our spiritual work, is ultimately come to the realization that what we are giving is what God has already given us. And we are points for its fulfillment. We are points for it to be expressed. And he also let me know that as you give, you discover something greater within your life. That the more you give, the more you have available to give. There's a story about a man who was a telepath. And he can communicate with nature. And one day he was walking through an apple grove, and he said to the apples in the apple, he said to the apple trees in the apple grove, he said, "Yo, apple tree." It was a hip apple tree. And the apple tree responded to the telepath. He said, "Yo, apple path," or "Yo, telepath." And the man said, to the apple tree, "I've been noticing that you have all these magnificent apples. And I see that when you give an apple to everyone, people pick them and you give them away. And you grow some more. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And the apple tree said, I don't know what to tell you except that that's my nature. I love to give. And the telepath asked him, well, what about the people who throw stones at you? And the apple tree said, well, they get even more apples. They throw stones at me and I drop more and they get more. And then man asked the apple tree, have you ever desired the taste of your own fruit? And the apple tree said, oh no, that's crazy. Only human beings will try to get a reward from their own fruit, from their own giving. They're the only ones who want to give and get a reward for that giving. And so the apple tree, I think, has a few lessons for us. I think the first one is that we're here to radiate the spiritual presence of God and to give without seeking a reward because that is our nature. And the second thing, that those who throw stones at us, those who talk about us, that may criticize us, that we give them more love. We give them more peace. We give them more harmony. We give them more things. And when they aim that negativity at us, what happens is that we send them right to the top of the prayer list. And we can say to ourselves, they must not be seeing rightly. Let me pray for their spiritual vision. Talking about giving, it's really about giving more of ourselves. The measure you give is the measure you get back. It is in giving that we receive. Just as in every teacher knows that when they begin to teach something to their students, they're not doing it to get anything back. Because what happens, they get more wisdom. They get more knowledge. And they know that from the depth of their soul to giving more, that they're in the giving business. And that same spiritual teacher reminded me that in order to get into this realization of this giving process, we have to redefine a few things in our life. And one of the things that we redefine is the word need. He was telling me, don't use that. Because he says, people who talk about need, they need this, I need that, I need whatever. When we use need, we're talking about a form of something outside of ourselves that we think we do not have, and we need to get that in order to be happy. And when we say the word need, we're reinforcing in our own awareness that we do not have it. And if we use even some hocus pocus and we manage to get it, we'll still not keep it in consciousness, and we'll end up possibly losing it. And we'll not be fulfilling the presence of what it means to give. So we redefine need. When we think we have a need for something, it means to us it's an invitation to go to the depths of our soul, to be more in our life, to reveal more of the presence of God, to give more. Because our soul is saying in so many words, it's an invitation to be more of ourselves. It means that there's more potential within us waiting to get out. I was talking about, a story earlier about, when we give from this realization of our oneness with God, that it makes us feel really our true joy, our happiness. And we just feel like life is good. There was an 8-year-old girl. She was 8 years old, and her name was Ella. And she had gone out with her dad to have a great dinner. They went to one of these fancy restaurants, with, really nice, plates and forks and knives, gold and all of that kind of good stuff. And so she got her plate of food, and she was able to look out the glass plate window, and she saw a gentleman sitting on a bench, and apparently, he didn't have anyone in his life and appeared to be homeless or going through some sort of transition in his life. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, she grabbed up her plate, took her silverware, the nice cloth napkin that it had, and the drink that she had. And she walked out the store, walked out the restaurant, walked through the lobby, went over right to the gentleman where they was sitting on the bench, kind of forlorn, not nobody coming by saying anything to him, and simply gave him her whole dinner. And when she walked back in and she was looking out the window, she just felt so good about herself. She could see she had a smile on her face. And her dad asked her, well, how does it feel to do that? And what she said, I like it. That's all that she said. I like it. You know, that 8-year-old named Ella was a giver. She realized there was always more than enough. She already had that within her. And people who live with a not enoughness, they sometimes live safe, and sometimes they're hesitant to release themselves and to give more of themselves because they think they're going to lose something, or because something did not work out in the past and they think the dynamic good that is within them is never going to be activated again. And all that they seek to do is to find a safe place not to give anymore, not to come out anymore. They may do that in any and every area of their life. They may say, I've been hurt. I lost money. I'm not going to try anything again. That relationship did not work out. I'm not going to give of myself. My body got hurt when I stretched that day, so I'm not going to exercise anymore. That poetry I wrote, somebody rejected it. They did not like my song. As I was thinking about Friday night when I saw all of the folks there who were giving their music and their poetry and their artwork, they were just letting it all go without any concern, without any expectation in return. And something were lifted up within the whole energy of our energy field that evening. But some folks use a litany of excuses not to give of themselves. And they constrict themselves. And they're unable to be those vessels to receive the largesse of the universe that is here for us. And so when we examine that line in St. Francis' prayer that is giving I receive, it reveals something else. It opens us up to the reception of the concept of circulation. And circulation simply means that when we move something through a circuit, it comes back to its starting point. And there's a scriptural reference in Ecclesiastes 11:1 that said, cast your bread upon the waters. In a short period of time, it shall return unto you. So we have to ask ourselves, what bread have I cast upon the waters lately? What have I circulated lately? People say, my good's not coming to me. Nothing's happening. What's going on? We must ask, what have we circulated lately? What bread have we cast upon the water? We only get back what we cast upon the waters and nothing else. People sometimes trying to get other people's bread. They cast other people's, they try to get on other people's bread, but we only get the bread that we cast out. And as we look at the stories in the Bible, metaphysically or allegorically, bread is universal substance, that which is behind everything. And the water is infinite possibilities. And we're here to cast our divine substance, our awareness of our oneness with God. We're to cast our bread on the sea of infinite possibilities on a day-by-day basis. And we find ourselves being givers, and what we cast out comes back to us multiplied in so many different ways. I was thinking of sometimes we just cast out good in our world, and it comes back to us. And I was thinking about a movie that Denzel Washington is in called Training Day. He was a bad cop in that movie. I think he got an Academy Award for that particular movie, for his acting in that movie. And all the others that he just had to be cast as a bad guy to be. But anyway, he got an Academy Award, I'm sure somewhere in his house. But anyway, in this particular movie, him being a kind of a bad cop, he had a partner. And they were riding around, and the partner saw there was some commotion going on, down an alley. And they were off duty, they were trying to get back and finish, their day. But he told them to stop, and he got out the car. And he went there, and he saw that there was a young girl who was about to be assaulted, and he ended up fighting these other guys off, and she was able to get away and get saved from being assaulted. And she left behind her wallet that had her ID and everything in it, and he put it in his pocket. And Denzel was playing the bad cop, was trying to get rid of his partner because he was, trying to clean up the corruption that was going on. And so he brought him to some gangster's house. And he thought he was going to be there just to have a conversation with them. And they were about to, kill him. I'm trying to think of a more subtle word, but that was what they were going to try to do. They're about to kill him. And somehow in the middle of all of that, the wallet fell out of his pocket. And it so happened he looked at the ID, one of the bad guys, and realized that it belonged to his cousin. And he was wondering, how did you end up getting this wallet? And the guy said, well, there's a young girl there. She was being attacked, and I supported her. And he said, hopefully you're telling the truth, because he called her up and asked her, what happened? What happened after school today? And at first she was hemming and hawing, and he said, there's a guy here that has your wallet. And she said, well, he was the guy who saved me, enabled me to get away that day. And so as a result of that, the bad guys let him go. He cast his bread upon the waters, and eventually it came back to him to benefit in a way that he never would have understood. As I said, if we don't cast any bread, we don't receive any bread. We want to participate in circulation so that more and more of God's presence can flow through us, come through us. We want to put it to the test. That's what circulation is all about. Well, so we hear St. Francis say, it is in giving that we receive. We hear Jesus saying, it shall be given unto you as you give out. Give and it shall be given to you. And they're both articulating a divine law, reminding us that divine flow requires that each and every one of us agree to be that receiving channel, to be that instrument that St. Francis talks about. And giving is more than materials. Giving is really about an energy. It is a state of consciousness that shows up in so many different ways. So if we experience that we consider a lack of any kind, our need is to be the right and perfect opportunity to give more of that quality that we seek, we need. So we name any challenge as an opportunity. And when we have any kind of need in our life, we realize the need is to express more, to give out more, to plant ourselves in the stream of life. And we can say to ourselves, as I plant, as I give, as I express, as I love, as I shine, as an instrument of this presence, I multiply the good in my life, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So we requalify need. We plant ourselves in the stream of life through our givingness. So I invite you to say with me, if you will, I am an instrument of the Spirit. I am an instrument of the Spirit. I am ready to give and to receive. I am in awareness of God. All my needs are met now. I feel it. I proclaim it. I affirm it. I am ready to prove it. And so it is. And so it is. Peace and blessings to you. Just a reminder that the Dr. Rima Bonario is going to be here next week. And as he said, she's the co-creator of the Q process. And she's going to be our guest speaker. And she's going to share how she created that, how we can incorporate that into our life. And she's going to have the workshops along with her partner next week as well. And then we also have Cunningham. I can't remember his first name. Julian Cunningham is going to be here. He's really, really magnificent, as well as Laurie, the young lady that sings as well. And we have someone else. I don't know. We have Laurie's going to be there. So come next week for Dr. Romario and Julian and Laurie and each other. And so with that awareness, we really practice this law of giving. You know, as we give, we support this community in so many different ways to help individuals who are seeking to have transformation in our life. It helps us really support organizations and programs such as we had this Friday night with the young folks and the work that they're doing to support good causes in our community. And so I invite you to take your gift, your love offering, your tithe, and symbolically raise it to the heavens. And if you're given any other way, that you are in that unchanging law of giving and receiving. So with that awareness, I invite you to join in saying our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Oh, hey. Shine the light into the world. Shine the light into the world. Shine the light into the world. Let it shine. It is time for one and all to live the dream, answer the call. There is enough love in your heart to change the world. Change the world. Light into the world. Come on. Shine the light into the world. That's it, yeah. Shine the light into the world. Let it shine. One by one we'll plant the seed. Wherever there's a need, we are the very hands of God, reaching out into the world. Shine the light into the world. Shine the light into the world. Oh, shine the light into the world. Oh, hey. We reach a time in our human evolution. People get ready for the love revolution. Where there's a problem, we are the solution. Now is the time to put on your shine. Where is God in the midst of tragedy, but living in the hands and the heart of humanity? Answer the call, love will set you free. Now is the time to put on your shine. The light into the world. Come on, come on, come on. Shine the light into the world. Shine the light into the world. The time is right to fight the fight. We must unite, brothers and sisters. Shine, shine the light into the world. For peace, for justice, for freedom. Shine the light into the world. For love, for giving. Shine the light into the world. Oh, hey, we're gonna break it down now. Each and every one of you are a light. You can heal the world with what's in you. And now is the time to shine. Oh, lift your voices and sing with me now. Here we go. Shine the light into the. Let me hear you. Shine the light into the world. Shine the light into the world. Oh, yeah. Shine your light, shine your light. Let me hear you. Let it shine.
world wherever we are. And we bless the tithes and offerings to help us expand the shining of that light for all those who are open and receptive to receive it. And so we go forth multiplying the all good, and we say, thank you, God. Thank you, ushers and greeters, for helping us shine the light. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that awareness that we're here to shine the light, let us join together with our peace song, knowing it always begins with us.